Okay, the music's over. It's time to listen to me talking instead. I hope that's better. Hello, and good time zone. And what is up, gamers? Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Oh my goodness, it has been. It's been a long road getting back to art streaming. It's been, as you know, a couple of weeks, and oh boy, I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy to be back, y'all. It's been a time, but we're back. Yay! And hopefully mostly normal. Let's find out. Anyways, let you see what it is that we're working on today. I've got a little sketching left to do, and I hope that's all right, but I hope you like what I've got so far. It's really stupid. Apologies to Dan for the music. It's the same music as always. It's gone now. Anyways, hello Dan, welcome. I hope you are well. Hello also to Turnip. Lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. Do art stream. We made it. Just a little announcement up top. Also, hi Joe, welcome in. Lovely to see you as well. Turnip, thank you very much for the lurk. Retro, thank you very much for the lurk as well. And hello. Bit of an announcement before I switch over to the art stream camera. We have a different camera today. Hopefully the camera is fine. Let me know. Is the resolution worse? Is it better? Is it exactly the same? It casts a slight shadow that annoys me, but hopefully you don't notice it too much. Anyways, I probably shouldn't have told you that, otherwise you might have never noticed it at all. Let's go. Hello! Here's the art camera. Ah! Everything's positioned so weird, I have to think differently about, like, where my hands and stuff live. Ah! This is weird. Y'all, this is really weird. I kind of feel like I have to move everything over a little bit. Just move over my Lego. I should probably put away these paints as well. They don't really need to be out here right now, so I should probably find a place for them to live. Not just out and about, because I'm not actually using these paints today, so they're going away. Joe, thank you very much for the 40 stream steak! That's 40 delicious, delicious steaks for you to enjoy as you see fit. Perhaps with a little bit of butter, a side of baked beans, a piece of toast, a martini, some, oh god, what's it called? Chimichurri! Some chimichurri. That goes well with a steak, I believe. I don't eat meat, so I don't know, but I'm trying my best. Anyways, hi. This is our sketch for today. If you saw the go live messages on my socials, or possibly in the Discord, you may have seen that this is what I wanted to do today. The store, I'm going to pop a link to the Discord in the chat, by the way. We will be, just a little additional programming note before we get further, before I forget. We will be launching my shop update for September a little bit later on in the stream. If you want to take a little sneaky peek, it is actually already up in the shop. But I will be taking us on a little tour of it a little bit later on. And I'm pretty excited because I think there's some pretty cute stuff in there. And oh, little boy, I really want this update to do super well because I have dental surgery coming up on Friday. And if you know anything about dentistry, you know it's prohibitively expensive. And I'm gonna really need... Anyways, if you feel like sharing my social posts and that kind of thing, when I make them, I would really appreciate it. No pressure, obviously, absolutely no pressure at all. You know, I'm just happy that you're here. But if you did feel like helping out and spreading the word a little bit, that would be super super cool as well. Because oh boy, I kind of need this shop update to do as well as possible. I would love for this shop update to sell out so that, you know, I can pay for my new tooth. Without having to worry about, you know, like, crippling amounts of debt. Anyways, but, I don't want you to feel bad. Don't feel bad about me, just hopefully like my art. Anyways, Dan, no! No, but also thank you. But also no. I want them to be nice to my teeth, and I don't think that's gonna help. Anyways, but this is the art that we're working on today. It's not quite done yet. As you can see, there's some little blank spots where I still need to add some little elements of, like, fantasy greebling here and there. I've been trying to look at a lot of, like, existing examples of, sort of illuminated manuscripts from the medieval period and trying to recreate that vibe with this piece. I'm just going to bring you in a little bit so you can see that here. When I bring it in too close, it gets stuck in the shadow of the camera, which is what I'm not loving about this new camera. It's a little bit frustrating in that way. But hopefully you can see from here. This is Hornet. And I do want to explain my reasoning behind why I have done this to her, because there is a story. So, one time, because I'm like this, I was sitting on this is before Silksong's release date was announced. I was in Schiphol Airport when waiting for, like, my flight to board back to Heathrow when that announcement came out. So, yeah, thank goodness for airport Wi-Fi being somewhat functional. So I got to at least see a soundless, a muted trailer and release date on my phone. That was great. I was not about to stick headphones in and try to listen to it, and I wasn't going to make everyone else in the airport listen to it. But I also did not want to miss when they made the announcement to be like, BA flight whatever blah 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 is boarding section. I didn't want to miss that because, I had a nice time in Amsterdam, but then I didn't want to come home. Oh man, that feeling of like, okay, this is the expensive thing I'm treating myself to this year, and this year it was a trip to Amsterdam for a couple of days, and then it turned out I had dentistry done, like 2 weeks afterwards, which is just great. Anyways, so that's going to be on Friday, and I'm hopefully streaming on Friday morning. I think I mentioned this on last Friday's stream. It turns out that someone is coming round to hook something up for basically, I think, like our doorbell, because we have a central doorbell that calls to like multiple units of the building that I live in. They're having to replace this. And thank God, because sometimes it just emits like a continuous tone, and I don't know how to make that stop. And you can hear it from our house, and it's really annoying. So I'm glad it's going to get gone. But they need to send someone round, and they're sending someone round on Friday morning, and I have to be here to like let them in and do stuff with like our front, like my house's front door. And I can't stream while there's a person doing stuff in my house. So I'm just really hopeful that they're going to be done by 10:30 so I can start on time. But I will be starting stream whenever they get the heck out of Dodge. So stream might start a little late. I don't know. I'm still planning to stream. My dentist appointment is until 3 in the afternoon, so yeah, I should be able to. I should be able to end on time. I don't know whether or not I'll be able to start on time. Phew. Anyways, I'm also feeling a lot better today, thankfully, because I was sick for last week. I was sick for most of last week, and it wasn't very fun at all. But yeah, so getting wildly off topic here, what I wanted to say is that I was just idly like thinking about things on the bus, as you do. And if you don't know, I'm a big fan of Hollow Knight, and I'm hoping to be a big fan of Silksong, which is the sequel to Hollow Knight, which is a video game that came out in the new game releases on Thursday. So I'm really looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I was thinking about medieval dress history, as you do if you're me, and I was thinking about, I'm gonna have to hold that thought for just a second because my moderator / spouse has just come home and I need to say hello to them. One moment, please. Hey. I'll let you get disrobed and rested and all that. Actually, can I give you a kiss? Not that I know of. Love you. Okay, I have... Joe says hi. Hey, Joe. He says hello. Could you hear the smoochies? Oh no, I'm so sorry. Listen, it's not gross, we're in love, okay? Anyways, as I was saying, dress history, specifically medieval dress history, and... Dan says, ew, I can hear their lips touching. I'm not sorry. Tough biscuits. Anyways, not really, you two are just so... Oh, no. Thank you, Jim. Anyways, so... thinking about medieval dress history, as you do, and I was thinking about, specifically, I was thinking about the double-pointed hennin, which is a type of hat from, a period of the medieval period, and I will refer to it as a period of the medieval period, because, you know, like, that's a long old time. Mwah! Mwah! I love you. Sorry, my moderator / spouse just walked past. But yes, it's these hats that have like 2 points. That, you know, the medieval pointy hat is like that. It specifically it's the one that's got like the two pointy bits sticking up, and there's sometimes like a veil sort of hanging between them. They're very fun. Here's someone from Etsy wearing a version of it. I'm just gonna pull up a tab so you can see. But a period of the period, like a subset of the medieval period, because the medieval period is like several centuries, so it's not like they just wore the same thing the entire time. There were different fashions that came in and out of style during that period. I think generally fashion moves slower in that period, but still. Anyways, it's a good time. But yes, I wanted to find a representative. There we go. Okay. So, an example of it looks kind of like this. And you know, this lady with her, like, 2 points and her white veil and her, like, very drapey sort of red gown made me think medieval hornet, because I am very Silksong brained at the moment. And I thought, I want to do, like, some sort of, like, portrait of Hornet, but in like a medieval style. And I thought at first about drawing something that was more, doing something more like one of the detailed paintings of the period, and doing, you know, like someone wearing one of these hats, but sort of stylizing it so it looks more like Hornet's antlers, and having like a long, you know, sort of like bell-sleeved kind of dress, and then holding a big sword, and, you know, maybe some armor in there, that kind of thing. To make it more sort of like stylized in that way. And then I was like, okay, but what if... what if... Y'all, what if... what if I just go like full medieval gremlin? And then I was like, okay, well, what if I do that like as a sort of illuminated manuscript page? I've got the... Oh man, this lettering is really hard to do, but it says Shah! And we'll get, I have, you know, a supply of gold paint. It's not made of real gold, but it's very sparkly, that I'm hoping to kind of decorate the piece with, and I think that could look really, really nice. So, also trying to get some oblique references to Hollow Knight in here, like the flowers, in amongst the sort of like manuscripty sort of marginalia. Over here we've got some blue raspberry fight milk looking blossoms. We've got some delicate flower over here. I need to fill in these areas with some gubbins, you know. That kind of thing. But I'm having a nice time. I'm having a nice time trying to do it. And it's a lot of fun. Anyways, but I need to figure out what to fill in sort of the rest of these little areas with. And, yeah, that's the stupid thing that we're doing today. I have as usual, I have 3 beverages. I have this coffee, which I started earlier, which is a single origin from Tanzania, but I bought the beans in Amsterdam from a coffee roaster there called Badetta. Very, very good coffee, very nice people. And this coffee genuinely is lovely. It's got like a sweetness to it. It's not like super, super bitter. And it's not super, super acidic. It's obviously it's got the bitterness, it's got the acidity, but it's definitely got like a sweetness, like a pronounced sweetness to it as well. Specifically, I would describe it as honeyed, which is really nice. It's a lovely, lovely cup of coffee. Gazillion out of 10. If you are in the Netherlands, I do recommend go check them out. I have put the name of the coffee place in the chat. And if you're in Amsterdam, they are, I can't remember the name of the street, but it's in the pipe. Anyways, hello, Cranky. Welcome in. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you, and welcome. I was just waxing complimentary about my coffee. I will also shout out my second drink, which is a hot oat milk with some turmeric and cocoa and spices, which is a very comforting drink as well. Hello, Sunshine. Oh, you stole a pack of the crisps. Okay, go ahead. Anyways. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. This is from Bird and Blend Tea. I have no idea whether or not it was like a limited edition or if they still do it. But it's really nice. I find it to be a very comforting taste. It's got that like earthiness from the turmeric, but because there's like other stuff in it, it's very well rounded. Like the cocoa gives it a nice sort of like depth, and you get that like earthiness from the turmeric. And I think there's a little cinnamon in it as well. I don't know, but it's very good. It's very, very good. Very cozy with oat milk. And this one's just for fun. This is Hello Kitty's pink apple pie tea. It's September 1st, therefore it's autumn, therefore it's Halloween, therefore I want to be drinking things with spices, and pink apple pie is perfect for that. Because, like, you know, I like the spooky vibes, but also, you know, like, I'm cute. Anyways. Honestly, at this stage, I don't know what my brand is. My brand is a mess. Anywho. I'm about to go get lunch. That sounds delicious, says Cranky. Nice. I hope that you enjoy your lovely, lovely lunch. What did I have for lunch? I had samosas for lunch. They were actually really... I was skeptical about these, because they were, like, ready-made samosas from Marks and Spencer's free from section, and I was like, oh no. Are these gonna... They were really good. They were so good. I don't know what they do to make these samosa wrappers. I suspect that they're very deep fried. But damn, they were really nice. The filling was very goodly flavored, I would say. I want to drop an Easter egg into this marginalia, and I need to look up a reference in order to effectively do so. So if you'll give me just a moment, I will find that. Hopefully. Hopefully I will. I was originally going to stick like a mistake or a folly, but I couldn't get them to look right at this scale, so I'm thinking of maybe just doing a tick-tick. Not TikTok. Tick-tick, Hollow Knight. There we go. Absolutely not TikTok. I don't have TikTok. I've never used TikTok. I don't want it, but I love... You know what? Why would I look at TikTok when I can have a tick-tick? Look at them. They're so cute. Look at them. Oh, bless. I love them so much. Okay, let's see if I can try and recreate an exceedingly tiny version of the... I'm going to sharpen my pencil because I'm literally putting this guy into this corner. This little creature is teensy. I need the finest point pencil I can manage. So, they gotta sharpen. This pencil is gonna be dead soon. I'm gonna have to start a new pencil fund to fund my next pencil. How much was the pencil fund? Like 200, I think it was like 200 bits. It's like, please fund my new pencil. you know, because I'm about to be very poor. Thank you, dentistry. Anyways, but don't let's dwell on that because that's sad. I don't want to feel sad. I want to feel joyous and stupid, but in a fun way. Okay, so the tick. Let's see if I can do this. So it's got kind of a little face like that. And then it's got sort of its head and then a second little part of its body and then a third little part of its body that kind of curves down like that. I don't think I've really, okay. I want to fix the tail end specifically. I think it's kind of, the shape is not quite as it should be. Can I get a bit more of a curvature? Like that. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a mild improvement. I mean, it's gonna look weird and silly, but eh. I think that yeah, that's the right number of tiny. That is the right number of tiny legs. Good job, me. Yay. Trying to give it a weird little medieval face, but oh, my eraser is too big. I think I need to break out the sharp corners on the like clean end of I say clean end. This eraser is, as all erasers become, a little bit gross. But so it goes. There we go. Yay! It's a teeny tiny tick. Will you focus? Will you look at my hand? Look at my hand. Now focus on the tick. Thank you. This camera is still a bit of a learning curve. I think like it's fine. The camera is good, but it's definitely a learning curve. The tick looks so stupid. I just wanted to put a little creature in a corner of this piece because I thought it would be fun. It's a nice little reference, and it's a good time. I'm trying to think of what other sort of botanical elements I can try and add. Maybe something from like Green Path. That's where we first meet, Cornered after all. Sasav, hello, welcome in, and thank you so much for the follow. Thank you, and welcome. I hope you are well. I hope you're having a lovely, lovely Monday, and I hope you had a good weekend as well. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Oh my gosh, who is this little man? Hold, focus. Still trying to figure out how and where this camera wants to focus. This is a tick. This is just a little tick from the Hollow Knight. If the tick were being drawn in like the 14th century, you know, just normal behavior for a standard Hollow Knight enjoyer. Anyways, I hope you're well. I hope you're having a lovely day. I think I want to add some more. I think I can throw in some more like vines of blue raz in here perhaps. How shall I do it? They're kind of coming in. Like that maybe, and let's throw some of these little limited edition blue raspberry doodads onto here. And see how we like it. hell yeah. That's cute, and it was surprisingly easy. Very normal, nothing to see here. I love the Hornet Man face, too. This honestly, like, I initially just drew Hornet's, like, regular face, just with, like, her big black eyes, and then I looked at it and I was like, wait, no, hear me out, but, because, like, what if? Like, what if? And then, I don't, sometimes one draws a thing that you're like, I don't know if this is going to appeal to anyone else in the world. I don't know if anyone else is going to, like, think that this is a good idea, or if they're just going to be like, what is wrong with you? Like, what planet are you from? I hate this. This is hideous and horrible, and you should feel bad about yourself. But you're like, okay, but like, what if I just did? And then I did it, and I would you know, most of the time the artistic process is a lot of just, you know, sort of like trial and error and sketching things out and being like, yeah, I think I can see that this is going to go in a direction that I'll like. And then sometimes you sketch it something and you're just like, I love this. I love this so much. Sometimes doing art is just about doing a thing that you personally look at and go, hee. I'm so happy I did that. Been actually productive today, says Sasaf. Hell yeah, congratulations. Wait, I see an opportunity. An opportunity, you say. I love to see it. Tals, hello! Sha! Thank you very much for the Sha. Much appreciated. Hope you are well. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. Hope you had a good weekend as well. It's so good to be back doing art stream. And I actually got some stuff done, and we haven't even been live for an entire hour, and I feel pretty proud of that. Will we get to actually painting anything today? Remains to be seen. I'd very much like to, but we shall see whether or not that will come to pass. I'm just doing a cheeky little look up on my phone of some aspects of sort of green path backgroundy stuff that I might translate into some of this like marginalia here. There's a lot of like shrubby gubbins in the backgrounds of green path in sort of various shades of green and blue that I think look quite neat. I'm on the same page. It is hideously wonderful and actually hilarious. Oh my god, thank you. That is such a compliment. I am so so flattered. Thank you. Oh boy. Okay. I feel like enough people have filtered in now that I might be able to ask a question of the chat. I was thinking about this yesterday, and I asked my moderator /spouse, but I want to put it to the wider community. Which of the following is worse? Carpeted kitchen or carpeted bathroom? Because I am upset by the idea of either, and indeed both. And I'd be interested for other folks' takes on which one they reckon is worse. So that's my question of the day is carpeted kitchen or carpeted bathroom. Carpeted kitchen is vile, but carpeted bathroom is a man-made horror beyond my comprehensions. So yeah. Yeah. Like, carpeted kitchen just seems like it would be a nightmare to keep clean. Why not both, says Tals? Why? ¿Por qué no los dos? ¿Por qué no neither? Honestly. Like, carpeted kitchen is you drop stuff on the kitchen floor. You spill things on the kitchen floor. You want it to be easy to clean. And carpet is not that. You know, maybe it's nice and warm and cozy underfoot, but you know what's also nice and warm and cozy underfoot? Just wearing slippers around the house. Just wear slippers around the house. I'm always wearing slippers in my house, and it is the best life. Just have little slippers that you wear when you're walking around the house. It's great. Your feet don't get cold. Your feet don't step on anything unpleasant. It's just better. So yeah, horrible to keep clean. Just the stuff of nightmares. Carpeted bathroom. Even with the best of having a bathroom that actually has... My house is designed in such a way that the bathroom does not have an exterior window, which I hate, because it is a lot harder to keep it from not being stupid humid in there. And, you know, people shower in there. It gets damp. It gets humid. Even if you do have an exterior-facing window and an extractor fan, there's still humidity. There's going to be, the carpet is going to get damp. The carpet is going to get damp. That's nasty. That's a recipe for, like, mold and mildew and stuff. And when mold and mildew gets into your floor, then that's a recipe for you have to get a new floor. You know? No. No. Yeah, Tal says the kitchen feels like it would be more dirty more often, but the bathroom would be worse for mold. Like, yeah, it's just they're the worst of both worlds together, really. Just awful. Just awful. You know, that's like, the nice thing about bath mats, you know, you put a bath mat down in front of the shower, you put a bath mat down in front of the toilet if you don't want to be, like, touching the cold floor with your little tootsies in the middle of the night, or when you're stepping out of the bath, etc., etc. Okay, I get it. But the thing about the bath mat is that you can just lift it up and put it in the wash and just clean it, like, in the washing machine, and get any, like, you know, dampness and gubbins out of it, and it's fine. They also dry a lot more easily and faster because they're designed to, whereas carpet is carpet. I was remembering yesterday, they're old friends of the family from about a gazillion years ago, when I was a youngin'. Lived in an otherwise really beautiful old house, but I think that as houses go, it was probably built, it was in quite a remote area of, like, northern Ontario, and it was an older house, and I think it was built before, like, it was standard in that region at that time to have indoor plumbing. Because, as I say, this was pretty far north. This was pretty rural. I think that it was designed pre-indoor plumbing, right? So their bathroom was, it was on the, like, first, it was like a 2-floor house, so it was on the upper floor of the house, this bathroom. And it was, like, weirdly large, like, uncomfortably large. Like, I feel like I felt uncomfortable going to the bathroom in this bathroom because the room was just a cavernously large space for a bathroom. I don't know. I feel much more comfortable in a bathroom that's relatively compact. I don't know why. I don't know if that's unusual, but it was weird. But the other thing is it had carpet. And I think my supposition about this house is that second bathroom was built, that it was adapted from what used to be, like, an additional bedroom or something. And at some point it got refitted into a bathroom when they, you know, installed indoor plumbing. Which, like, okay, great. But my God, this bathroom is too big. You could have just turned, like, half of it into an ensuite wardrobe or something for, like, the one of the other rooms on the floor, and it would have been fine. 'Cause good Lord, it was too big. And why did it have carpet? I don't know. It was the 80s. People did things differently then. The past is a foreign country. Carpet is carpet, says Tels. It is. Facts. Sassaf says, I mean, to be fair, if for some reason I lived in a place with a carpeted toilet, I would also rip it up and take it away for cleaning. I just might not collect it again afterwards. Oh, no, absolutely. If I were moving into a house and, like, the loos had carpet, we would be taking up that carpet and just hoping that there was some nice hardwood under there. And if there wasn't, we would be putting down, you know, some, like, waterproof style flooring, like vinyl or tile or something. Something that's not carpet. Good Lord. Because I know, it's gonna get damp and horrible. You're gonna go to the bathroom and it's just got, like, a damp smell. That's, I don't want to get mold poisoning from the carpet and the loo. I'm sorry we got onto this topic. It's just where my brain went today. Anywho. Oh boy. Alright. So, I need to figure out what other gubbins to kind of pop along in here. And I think I want to do some, like, some green pathy type vines, but I'm trying to figure out, like, the best way to do it. So I'm looking at a whole bunch of pictures of green path on my phone, which is super not helpful for y'all. But we've got kind of, like, we've got kind of like this stuff, which is not showing very well, like, color-wise, but it's just all of these little leaves, and I'm wondering if I can just kind of do a little, ooh, or actually we've got these little, like, grassy things with the little leaves sticking out. I think I might do something like that. I think that could work really, really well. But using some different, and the colors of this piece are gonna be a bit more kind of, a bit less, like, Hollow Knight bluish gray, and a bit more, like, bold medieval colors, because I think that'll work really well. I'm using the... Excuse me, Ice Cream Van, I'm trying to talk to my community. I'm using this palette because it's got a really nice, like, bright red. It's got a really nice, you know, it's got all these lovely primary colors. It's got a beautiful green as well, so I'm going to be using a lot of these colors, I think, for this piece. Because if you look at a lot of, like, this style of manuscript, let me just bring up one that I've been using for inspiration, if I can. I've got so many tabs open now. Oh, geez. Medieval illuminated manuscript. Show me that picture I was looking at. I said, show me that picture I was looking at. Okay, can I pull up the picture I was looking at? No, I don't want to open the website. Ah, damn it. Okay, one second. Bear with. Okay, here we go. The idea being something like these. This one is kind of separated into different, like, segments, which I haven't done here, but you can see sort of the idea of the little squiggles and scribbles and, like, botanical elements and that kind of thing to kind of just, like, fill the space, which I really enjoy. And then they even have little sort of, like, I don't know how to describe them, just little, like, flair in and around the big sort of swoops and things that they've done to sort of make the space even more busy. Tal says, ooh, ice cream. Today's not the weather for it. No, it's quite cool and breezy in the studio, actually. That's why I made myself hot beverages. Like, it is autumnal, and I am so here for it. Partially because this summer I developed a bit of a taste for chalk ices, which is dangerous because I then looked up the stats for chalk ices, and, well, let's just say the doctor said I should be keeping my cholesterol low. So chalk ices are a no from me, unfortunately, because damn. Sasaf says this kind of style is really cool, and I find it so difficult. This is I think maybe baby's first proper attempt at this kind of style for me. So I genuinely don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just sort of futzing around and hoping for the best, honestly. So I don't know, wish me luck, I guess. Figuring out how to do it. I hope I can pull it off anyways. I'm gonna try my very, very best. So I think I want to get some nice bits of green pathy gubbins along the sort of edges here, if I can. Maybe, ooh, actually, I'm having thoughts. I'm having thinky thoughts. Uh-oh, that's dangerous. It's a dangerous thing to do. Sasa, thank you very much for the lurk. They say, okay, I need to lurk and add another layer of paint to my walls. Wish me luck. Hell yeah, you can do it. That's a rad project, and I hope it goes super well. Also, what color? But you don't have to come back and tell me now because you're lurking. But have a lovely lurk. Thank you so much for the lurk. I appreciate it. Okay. I think what I'm actually going to do with this is to... If I go to, like, here... And then actually have, like, two sort of bits of plantery kind of meeting each other in the middle. I think that might be kind of fun. Thus. And then just start sticking some additional gubbins onto these. And hopefully just, I feel like sometimes the I don't know if there was like a very specific way of doing these things, or if it was just like the artist just kind of added stuff until they felt like there was enough stuff on it. I honestly don't know. Because I'm just kind of adding stuff until I feel like I've added enough stuff, and I hope that that's fine. I'm gonna turn it this way now. And I'm gonna kind of do the same again, but they've... They're coming out to meet each other. Oh, they're smooching. That wasn't really my intention, but hey, you know what? If they want to smooch, then I'm not gonna dissuade them, because I love smoochies and I love love. I think it's nice. There we go. Okay, yeah. Oh, you know what? I dig that. I think that worked really well, and hopefully it will kind of evoke that kind of time and place of peace. I don't know if it will, but I'm trying to. I'm just. This is all very like experimental goof around stuff for me. Like over here, how shall I? I'm gonna go sideways. Sorry. I hope Hornet doesn't mind. She doesn't seem to mind. She seems fine. But I'm gonna come over here and add some more of these like elaborate swoops that I did here and over here, which I find really fun. And it seems like the recipe for those swoops is just kind of keep adding curly cues until you feel like you've added enough curly cues, and then you've done it. And that's it, which I absolutely adore. I think that's so much fun. If there is like a very specific technique to these that I'm missing, I don't know it. I've looked at a lot of examples of these kinds of things, and they very much have, it's such a fun vibe, I think. Look, they put a bird in this one. That's so cute. I love that they also will just stick just be like, hey, you know what? I feel like painting a bird, so I'm going to add a bird to this little flourish. I just think that's really lovely. And then all of these little bits, you see these little sort of like gold circles with little doodads coming off of them. I don't know if they symbolize anything or if they're just, I'm adding some additional elements because I want to make the space feel nice and filled with stuff. I don't know, but I love it. Fill the space with things, it seems. And yeah, it's just, this is a much busier art style than I often do. And I am finding it very, very, it's a fun challenge. This isn't going to look exactly like a medieval manuscript because it's me. I'm painting in watercolors, which they wouldn't, necessarily have been using in the period. I'm using pigments that hadn't been developed yet, probably. I don't actually know what pigments these paints are made with. This is a Japanese Gansai set from Choosing Keeping, the 1940 set. But specifically this lot of colors I feel is going to work really, really well. And probably a few of these as well. I note that I am going to be using some metallic gold, and I think that this is going to be a really good underlayer for the metallic gold. I find that with metallic watercolor paints, they tend to be very translucent. If you just use like the gold paint in and of itself, it can kind of not have a ton of impact. But if you underpaint it with like a yellow or, sort of like a light orange or something like that, or even a red, like if you underpaint it with something, it will make it pop and kind of stand out more. And I think just having that color underneath the shine really helps bring it out and make it as impactful as I think you want that to be. I think I'm actually going to flip it over this way because I think I want the swoop to be coming out of sort of in this direction, maybe? I don't know. There's very little space on this side. This margin is very tight. So it's going to be interesting trying to fit this kind of swoop in here. I think it's going to have to be kind of a little bit smaller, a little bit tighter. I don't think it's impossible, but I think it's going to be an interesting challenge. And I think it's just going to have to be kind of long. Thus, I've begunneth it, so that's a good starting place, I suppose. Oh, I don't like that curve. That curve is weird. It went a little bit funky on me, and I think I can do something better with that. More like so. Okay. And pop another little curl over there. And a little curl off that way. Okay. So this is a little bit less elaborate because there's just not a lot of space to do a ton in here, but it's a good little curve, I think. It's a good little curve. Then I'm going to again pull off another curve in this direction. So. Maybe go like that. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's a fun... Is this a fun curve? I hope that's a fun curve. I think that's a fun little swoop. It's a good use of the space, I hope. I hope. All right. Anyways, I'm kind of liking just the sort of, well, put stuff in places and see how it looks as like the strategy for this, which is really fun. Do I have space for maybe if I just stick one additional like delicate flower up here to kind of balance this and that? That could be fun. That could be fun. Okay, yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So if I have that coming from sort of this way, then bring it up here. So, and then I just add some funky fresh oh shoot, some funky fresh flourishes. Apparently my laptop had not been plugged in, so the battery was about to die. Is my camera having a moment? Hold up, my camera's having a moment from the looks of it. Hello Sammy's laptop, just tell us hello. I can't see that the camera seems to have stalled out there for a second, so let me just plug it back in. Hopefully that should reset it. Has it reset? Are you just seeing like a close-up of my arm, or is the camera actually moving? I don't know. Oh no. Welp. That may have, arm. Okay. Well, we are about to go into an ad break, so hopefully I can do some resetting, from there. I don't know. Let me just pull up my settings real quick. And hope for the best. Oh no! Where is my camera? Camera settings. Yeah, could you please? Could you please? No. Okay. I might need to do some resetting during the break, but that's okay because we are about to go into a break, so you're not going to miss anything anyways. And hopefully it'll be working when we come back, and we'll do some fun stuff then. Enjoy the BRB screen in the meantime, and thank you so much for hanging out. I'll see you very shortly. Have a nice break, hydrate, stretch, do all that jazz, and I'll be back very, very shortly. BRB, everyone. Alright, friends, here's hoping it's working again. Yay! Everything's fine. This is exactly as planned. We're all good. Okie dokie. I'm gonna finish this bit of, for lack of a better word, gubbins, I guess. And then, there. Okay. And then I have some exciting camera. Okay, something weird happened to the camera brightness there for a second, but I think we fixed it. But yeah, so that's our border for the art thing. This is where I started, and you could see that I was a little bit more shy. I think about sort of the gubbins. Also, I hadn't sharpened my pencil, and then I moved on to this kind of like swoopy gubbins over here. I don't know why I keep calling it gubbins. It is gubbins. And then we got some delicate flowers over here. We've got some more of these like swirls. So white, says Tals. Yeah, I'm so sorry for the like white jump scare. Then some more blue raspberry fight milk flowers over here. Some more swoops, some green path vines, a surprise tick tick for fun, and then some another little delicate flower, and then some additional swoops here. Fun stuff. I hope it looks fine. I had fun doing it. We're nowhere near done, but before I continue on, I have a really exciting announcement. My shop's updated. And I wanted to share that my shop's updated. Because, I don't know, I thought maybe you might want to see a tour of my shop update. Here's a link if you wanted to look at the shop itself, which has a load of stuff, including old stuff, as well as the new stuff. So for starters, we have some stickers. And I am pretty pleased with how the stickers came out. We've got Pride Flag Terry, who I absolutely adore. So long and so tall, but such a fun shape. It is a weird shape, but it's very queer, and I love that for us. He's very happy. He's got his little flag, and yeah. I just thought that would be a good sticker, and I hope y'all like it. Also, the camera is really picking up the light is really bouncing off of how there's these stickers aren't like glossy, but they're not like matte either. There's like a subtle sheen to them. Everything is made out of recycled materials, by the way, which is very important to me. Speaking of like queer stuff, hello. Since gender, I hardly know her. It's a non-beanie pride flag because, you know, sometimes you have a silly idea that grabs you by the lapels and is like, you have to make this into a sticker, and then you do that. So yeah. Gender, I hardly know her. I'm just gonna angle them slightly so they don't get hit by like mega shine from the light. Hopefully that works better. And then I also did a sticker of this guy. Because I love Jadzia, my old friend, says Styles. Hell yeah. There's just, as like a weird little baby queer growing up in like the 90s, and not having words for a lot of the things one felt about oneself and one's identity at that point, there was just something about Dax that really resonated. I wonder why. Anyways, then there's this little guy. It's just a happy little adventuring Kiwi. That, fun fact, I drew this while watching Nigel Slater's cooking show.
Plop, 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 plop.
Thank you so much for the Kiwi plaps. Who did that? Charles, thank you very much for the Kiwi plaps. I appreciate it. I am keeping very still so as not to disturb the kiwi that is currently perched on my head. I hope they're having a lovely time up there. Honestly, they give surprisingly good head massages with the little plap feet, so like I'm not complaining. That actually that's probably really good for my scalp. That feels great. Anyways, thank you, little friend. This little kiwi here is off on a little adventure. I drew this while watching Nigel Slater's cooking show on the hotel TV while I was staying in a hotel in London, and I was by myself and I wanted to do something, so I decided to draw a little kiwi going on an adventure, and that was this guy. I don't know if this is the best way to hold a sword, but also, kiwis don't have like arms, so probably the best thing they can use to like hold things and wield them is their beak. So I feel like this works. This sticker is so stupid. This sticker is so dumb. It's silly that it exists. Basically, okay, the story behind this sticker, y'all, is that I ordered a sticker of this because it's a stupid, dumb doodle that I did in, like, my meeting notebook. And, I wanted a sticker of it or something because, you know, like, my meeting notebook is very ephemeral, and I just thought this drawing was fun, and I wanted my own one of it, and they gave me a butt ton of extras, so I made a sticker of this drawing. It's very important to me that you know that this little guy is wearing ear defenders because he can hear the lights, and this little guy is wearing sunglasses because the lights are too bright. Honestly, they just need to fix the lighting situation in this place, and they'd probably both feel a lot better. But you know, this is pretty good in the meantime. We love some quality accommodations. Like, it's not hard. Anyways, can't spell autism without you and I. Anyways. I don't expect anyone to buy these. It was literally just for me. But I might as well put them out there because I have a bunch of them now. So what the hey? Anyways, I also did some limited edition Blue Raspberry Fight Milk Hollow Knight art month, art prints, art, more Hollow Knight art is in my shop now. There are only 6 of each of these. So, when they sell out, they're gone forever. So they're very rare and very special. This is the Seer, and I really liked drawing and painting her. I like her big sparkly eyes, and I like her, like, fluffy, the whole deal. She's weird, and I think she's fun, and I liked painting it, and I hope other people like it too. This, which was very silly. This is the Distant Village. And I just wanted to, you know, imagine what if the Distant Village, but, like, it was actually nice, and you sat and rest, and there was a cozy crochet blanket to sit with, and they just made you, like, hot chocolate, and they had cake. This is a delicious Victoria sponge being offered by this distant villager. Like, what if? Wouldn't that be a nice time to be alive? I feel like that would be a nice time to be alive. Why was it not like that? I think it could have, anyways. I'm not Team Cherry. I like the decisions that they make. I think their game is lovely. I'm just saying it could have done with a little more cake. Anyway, speaking of, here's Quirrell and the little guy having a picnic at the Blue Lake. They're having a nice time. They've got some limited edition Blue Raspberry Fight Milk, of course. They're having so they've got some little fruits here. He's having a sausage roll. He's having a sandwich. They're just having a really lovely time. I don't know. I think, you know, like, the little guy does a lot of wacky stuff, and goes through a lot. And I just think it would be nice if they just got to, like, sit down and have a picnic with their friend, okay? I guess I'm just a sap like that. I don't know. I hope you like it. That's a thing I painted. Next is... It's Markoth, everyone's favorite guy. Mira, thank you very much for the Shaw. Also, hello, Mira. I hope you are well. It's lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. And Shaw to you, too. This is Markoth. He has too many swords. I honestly think we should stop letting this person buy swords. Like, he has too many. I don't like that. It's a bad time. But also, I think his design is fun, and I enjoyed painting this, and I hope you like it too. What else? I've got 2 other Hollow Knights. And they're both deeply silly. First of all, we have Sha! This came about when I was riding the TTC in Toronto, and it turns out that there is a tram stop on the TTC, at Shaw Street. So, focus. The camera is not picking it up well, but that does on the little LED screen. It's very visible in real life and also in the product photos. It does say Shaw, because she's getting off at Shaw Street, and there she is. She's listening to, I don't know, maybe a podcast, maybe some music on her little headphones, and she will indeed be disembarking the tram at Shaw Street. This was really fun to do. I had a nice time doing it. Oh, come on, focus. Focus on my hand. There we go. Okay, good job. And this last one is very Silksong inspired, in as much as, so I don't know if y'all remember, but a few months ago Team Cherry released the sprite sheet for Hornet from Silksong, and there were some choice sprites in that sprite sheet. Specifically this one, which absolutely just like stole my heart and my imagination. It's Skongy Poppins. Hell yeah, there she is. This is so stupid. But you know, I had so much fun doing this. And I hope it turned out well. I like it. Anyways, yeah, I made a print of Skongy Poppins. Doing her thing. Flying through the air. With her poncho. Like a parachute. I don't know. It's just... that's a thing that exists. I also have some non-Hollow Knight art. I don't know if that's of interest to anybody, but I'll show you anyways. The Mothmen are gay. And they are in love. And this is a pride parade somewhere in London, and they're having a nice time being visibly queer, and we love that for them, and that's fun and important. And also we love cryptids. I don't know. These things go together in my brain, probably because I like both of them. Anyways, also had to try and shoehorn some seasonal-esque stuff in here. So here's a couple of ghosties, the Boorista and their friend, and they're having some like nice warm autumnal beverages. You can tell that the weather's getting colder because this little guy's wearing a wool beret. Very cute of them. And yeah, that's just some silly autumnal art, as you do. And this is not quite so autumnal, but I just love this cow. I just love this cow. Happy seasoning, Alsa's Cranky. Happy seasoning to you too. I just love this cow so much. This cow lives right here. You can say hi. There she is. Isn't she beautiful? It's, so yeah, this cow is my favorite thing I've ever painted because she's just the cutest and I love her so much. And, I hope you like her too. And also I decided to make a print of Park Royal Station because I had made a print of Maida Vale Station previously and I want to make prints of some more stations because stations are of interest to me, of special interest. And so I figured I ought to do a whole series of them, and so this is one of them. Again, there's some little guys for scale. They are off to, okay, so he is meeting his parents for the first time. Oh gosh. I hope it goes well. I hope it goes well. I'm nervous. I'm sure he's nervous too. I'm sure it'll all be fine. Anyways, and then I painted a jackdaw on a stack of books because I am nothing if not an autumnal cliche. Hello, Ernesto. Welcome in. How are you doing? It's wonderful to see you and welcome. I'm just taking people on a tour of my shop update right now. This is the last piece for it. This is a jackdaw because I think jackdaws are cute and there are a lot of jackdaws that live in my neighborhood and I like seeing them hopping around and being, frankly, hecking adorable. So I decided to paint one. And this one is hanging out with a stack of books, which I feel like is a very, like, cliche, like, art motif, but it's a cliche art motif for a reason, and the reason is that it's really good. It's really good, and I like looking at it, and I like painting it, so I decided to paint one, and here it is. Is a jackdaw with some books. And that's it. That's the shop update. I hope that you like them, and thank you for joining me on that tour. You can get all those things now. And if you don't want to get those things, that's fine too. If you want to, you can tell your friends to get them. Especially if your friends, you know, are not, like have the means to do so, obviously. I don't want anyone to spend outside their means for me. That, would make me feel bad. Please only do things if you can afford it and you want to. Don't do things that you don't want to or that you can't afford. That's bad. I am specifically facing down the very real, very imminent prospect of a large dental bill. So I'm really hoping that this update goes over well with the peoples. Maybe some Hollow Knight art prints will sell out. That would be super rad. I don't know. No press. Again, I'm letting you know. But please don't feel obligated to spend money that you don't want to. It's fine. Anywho, that's that. Go make good financial decisions at Sammy's shop, says Tells. If you can afford it and you want to. then I sure wish that you decide to do so, but only if you can afford it and you want to. You know, like I'm just happy you're here. No one is under any obligation to do any such things. But if you want to, that's neat. If you don't, that's also fine. I love you regardless. Thank you for listening to the sponsored segment of the stream. And now, back to trying to figure out how the heck I'm going to paint this. Yay! What if I really, really want to, but I can't afford it, says Cranky. There will always be more stuff. Still buy, says Cranky. The stuff will wait for you. I'm not going to sell out of absolutely everything forever, and if I do, I can always restock. So, by all means, and if someone comes to me and is like, hey, you used to have this thing in your shop and you sold out of it, would you ever do it again? Unless it's a Hollow Knight art print, I can always do a reprint. So, yep. I need to press button about Cranky now. But genuinely, if you want to and you can afford it, I would really appreciate it. If you do not want to and or you can't afford it, that is all right. It is all entirely fine. Okay, there's a couple little bits of housekeeping details that I need to complete on the piece before I can start painting it. I decided that I want to just put a little gold border around this little hornet. So I'm going to try and relatively evenly add that in. If it is slightly uneven, that's okay, because guess what? This is like the 13th century. We're doing all this shiz by hand. There's no... If it's slightly imperfect, that's fine. That just means that it was crafted by human hand, and isn't that what makes it unique and special? Or at least that's what I like to tell myself when the lines are really uneven. Because it makes me feel better. Oh no, like that line just went off in a direction that I did not want it to. Oh, that was awful. Let me attempt to correct this. Oh no. Oh no. Listen, I do want the cursed skong to be at least somewhat perfect. Despite the fact that this art looks like this, I am taking it very seriously. I really, really am. And I hope that it will be okay when it is done. There, okay. I'm just gonna darken the pencil line of like the outer bit of this outline because I couldn't really see it, and that was a bit not good. I think it kind of got erased slightly when I was as a grand scrivener should, says Cranky, a modern illuminator. I am trying my best, friend. I really am. So I guess my next question is, how do I want to do the background to Hornet here? I think the answer is I don't want the background of the bit with Hornet to be particularly detailed, because a lot of them kind of weren't. Like, some of them definitely are. Some of them definitely were, but a lot of them weren't really that detailed in the background. So I think we can get away with like a relatively abstract background of just sort of like, you know, ground, sky, and maybe have that be it. Saying that, I'm looking at a lot of examples on my phone right now, and they're all pretty detailed, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no. Well, I hate that. Oh, beans. Okay, well, let's take a look at that. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. That's real stinking detailed. Ah, shoot. Oh, heck. Oh, wow, that's a much more religious motif than I'm going for here. But actually the background is not quite as detailed. I think maybe we can take a page from at least that bit of the background not being quite so detailed. I'm honestly just trying to save myself a bit of grief, and I also don't want to, there is a risk when you're doing things that are this like crazy detailed. There is a risk inherent in like overworking the piece. Take a page. Thank you, Cranky. That's fantastic. There is a genuine risk, I think, in allowing the piece to be, because we've got all of this detail going on around the outside. There is a risk of the piece becoming, for lack of a better term, overworked, and I don't want to overwork it, you know. So, we want to avoid overworking it, as much as possible. So how shall I do, therefore? I guess I can do kind of a sense of like, just sort of like some landscape behind her, and then like sky, maybe with some clouds in it, which is not really indicative of like where Hornet would usually hang out. But on the other hand, like, I don't know where she's gonna be going in Silksong because I haven't played it yet. It's not out until Thursday. It's the second most important game that's releasing on Thursday. Of course, the most important game releasing on Thursday is Star Wars Outlaws for the Nintendo Switch. I just happen to remember that it's also releasing on Thursday. I will not be playing it. I will barely be playing Silksong on Thursday, which is distressing. So I have other things that I have to be doing. And it was Little Witch in the Woods, which I don't know anything about Little Witch in the Woods, the game, except that it's called Little Witch in the Woods, and let me tell you, that sounds like a game that I might want to play. I did see the image that they posted for, like, we're delaying the release of the game because Silksong's coming out, which is very funny. And also, oh no. But, it was like this little witch like lying on the floor, and you can just see like the shadow of Hornet like looming over them. It was very cute. It is such a cute game. I played the early access, says Maggie. Oh man, I am at least as pumped for Little Witch in the Woods as I am for Silksong, if we're being honest. Because that sounds like my vibe. Anyways. I mean, that being said, like, I don't necessarily, not every cozy game that exists is for me. I see a lot of, you know, I'm always on the lookout for, like, new things that I might want to play, new things that I might want to stream. And I see a lot of things and I'm like, oh, aesthetically, this is the business. And then I actually look into the gameplay and I'm like, nah, you know. But not all cute games, not all cozy games are created equal either. Like, I don't know if y'all remember a little while back that the, like, Hobbit game was released. And conceptually, I was kind of pumped for that. Because I'm like, yeah, that's exactly the kind of Lord of the Rings adventure I would want to have. Just dooting around, like, Hobbiton and the Shire and that kind of thing. And just being a little hobbits and growing gardens and doing... But it actually looks really boring. Like, there isn't really anything that looks actually fun in this. I do need something of an element of challenge beyond just kind of a sequence of fetch quests and talking to, like, belligerent villagers. So, Anyways, I think I might take somewhat of a page from this. Okay, spoilers for the Silksong release trailer, but obviously not the game because it's not out yet. But okay, it's being way too bright. But this sort of like mossy area, I think I might take a bit of a page from this like mossy area for the background here. But give it a bit more of sort of a like medieval looking blue sky, because I am trying to give this piece a bit more of a coloration that's in line with like medieval manuscripts. Whilst still kind of trying to make it feel a little bit Hollow Knight, a little bit Skongly. So if I kind of I don't like the way that little bumpity bump looks. Let me fix the bumpity. Okay. so. There we go. Okay, we've got some suggestion of mossy gubbins going on in the background of where Hornet is hanging out here. Um, Maybe we can have some little some little leaves sprouting. Like so. Just to give it some, I don't know, potential visual interest, I suppose. Thusly. Do I want to add any more? Maybe like another one just kind of up here. Maybe one that's kind of poking out from behind Hornet's little poncho. Here. Thus. It kind of does it look like it's growing out of her poncho if I do that? Is that like a little too tangent adjacent? Maybe I should put it just kind of behind that. I don't know. That might be a little bit near tangential, I'm not sure. Like so maybe instead. There we go. Okay, I've popped some sprouts into the landscape. Ta-da! We have some visual detail. It's fine. The next thing I'm going to have to do is take a picture of this before I wreck it, because I'm about to color it in. I'm about to start the process of coloring it in, and I'm genuinely terrified that I'm going to ruin this. So before I do that, I'm going to take a photo for reference, so I always know how it looked before I wrecked it. This is completely normal behavior. Anyways. Okay. First thing I need to do is mask off. So, it's masking fluid time. This stuff is so gross. This stuff is nasty. Genuinely. Oh, I always forget to do that away from the microphone so you don't hear all the horrible, like, sloshing noises of when I shake it up. Because you have to shake it up, but it makes really disgusting sloshing noises, and I don't want to subject you to that, but I just did, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm really, really sorry. Okay. Anyways, but yeah, if there's anyone here who doesn't know anything about Silksong, I'm sorry. This must be a weird stream for you, but I hope you're enjoying the art anyways. I will be hopefully playing it on stream on Friday. Oh my god, why this is so stuck? Am I going to be able to get this open? Yes, but barely. I'm very excited for it, but I'm also very aware of the fact that it is going to be different to Hollow Knight. There is a lot of, like, new stuff in it. You know, like, the playable character has abilities that the player character from Hollow Knight did not. She is going to be able to do stuff that they did not do in their game. So the gameplay is not going to be identical. So I think if anyone is expecting, you know, just sort of like Hollow Knight but more of it, you're probably going to have a different experience to that. There are obviously going to be similarities, but there are definite differences as well. You know, she's in a different environment than they were. She's facing off against different enemies, but more than that, she's also got a different skill set. She's gonna have different things that she's gonna be able to do. She's got different strengths. She's got different stuff. Different items, you know? I think, again, spoilers, potentially. I seem to remember seeing something about, like, a crafting bench. So that's a new mechanic. My point is, don't go in expecting it just to be more of the same as the old one. I don't think they would have spent this long working on it if it was just going to be, we're basically doing the same thing, but with new pictures and a new main character. There is most definitely more to it than that. And I do worry that there will be some people who have been waiting for this for a really, really long time and might end up finding that they don't enjoy it as much as Hollow Knight. Not necessarily, you know, I'm not saying that I expect that the gameplay is going to be worse. I feel like it's going to be at least as good. But it might not be to everyone's taste. And that might be weird for some people, especially if you've been like looking forward to it and really into the hype for a really long time, and then you find that like, oh, this isn't for me. You know, that's a weird feeling. You know, it's like when a movie you've really been looking forward to comes out and you're just like, huh. I hope that won't be the case for most people, and I expect it probably won't be the case for most people. I'm sure most people who loved Hollow Knight will absolutely love this game. I say, not having played it yet. But, I'm also prepared for the very real possibility that, it, you know, like, I might not like it as much. And that's okay. If that's the case, I'll probably play through it anyways and then play something else on stream. Like, I can just do that. That's the thing. I can just do that if I want to. Like, it's fine. Anyways. Cranky says spoilers, but yeah, you can see some shop items in one of the trailers. I'm very excited. Additionally, just FYI, for those who are in the Discord, or for those who might like to join the Discord, we talk about all kinds of stuff. You can find out when I'm live. You can let me know when you're live if you stream. It's a fun place. We have fun there. I'll pop a link here. I have created a Silksong channel in the Discord, so folks can discuss things to do with the game. I would ask, especially within the first couple of weeks to, like, even the first couple of months, anything that's, like, major spoilery in terms of, like, you know, sort of, like, lore or anything that you might consider to be a spoiler, to put it behind spoilers in the Discord channel, just so we don't, you know, spoil people. Obviously, there will be spoilers in my Silksong streams, for anyone who hasn't played it yet. However, I would likewise ask anyone, you know, sort of in chat to not mention any spoilers for things that we haven't got to in the game yet. So just be mindful of that as well, because I don't super care about spoilers, but I know other people really, really do, and I do a little bit. There are certain things that I'd probably rather not be spoiled for, but I don't know what they are yet, because I haven't played it. Anyways. I know I'm gonna love the art and music no matter what, says Cranky. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I am mega here for that. Something just made a sound. Oh no, is my camera disconnected itself again? Ah, shoot. Hold up. Camera. What? I'm using the webcam. I think I brushed against the cable. Anyways, I'm a huge fan of Metroidvanias in general, says Cranky, so a new one is hype for me. Hell yeah. I do worry that it can't live up to the hype, says Tells. Yeah, wholeheartedly a little worried about that. But honestly, I think, just hold up 1 second, everybody. Sorry, you're gonna get some weird views, but hopefully we will get it back. We'll get it back. Uh-oh. Oh no! Just give me a second, chat. Okay, please. Please and thank you. It's thinking. It's thinking. Anyways, but yeah, I think whatever happens, it's gonna be a fun time. I really do. Thanks, Windows Noises. I don't know why it has decided to just be a funky little so-and-so. I've unplugged it. I've plugged it back in. It's not showing me anything. No! Okay, I'm gonna switch to a different camera. I'm gonna switch back to this camera. And it's gonna be... Okay! Well... Maybe I'm not painting anything this stream. Who knows? In the meantime, I had taken my hand cream out to moisturize my hands, so I'm doing that whilst I attempt to reconfigure the camera so that it actually, you know, shows the camera. Is this... Hey, we're back! Okay, that's super weird. You should be able to see my thumbs up right now as I'm speaking. Anyways, the camera configuration pane was showing me, like, a black screen, but apparently the camera just decided to start working again, so we are back! Hooray! I'm sorry about the little disappearance there, but, we hath returned, and, oh no! I've just now realized I have to figure out what colors I want everything to be in this piece. And the answer is a resounding, I hadn't thought of that. Oh no! Heck! That's fine. That's not insurmountable. Where the heck is my palette? I haven't used my palette yet in a little while. I did some off-stream painting last week. I don't really have anything to show for it, I don't think. Apart from I finished that Jackdaw, which is in the shop update, which you can check out now. It's live and you can get stuff and it's really neat and I recommend it if you want to and you can afford it. I'll stop yelling about the shop update now. My moderator / spouse is miming, would I like a cup of tea? I have 3 beverages, my darling. I'm all good. Thank you. Anyways, speaking of, I should have a sip of one of my beverages, which is now extremely tepid. So, I've had a suggestion of green, and you know what? I quite agree. I quite agree with green. I think this bit certainly needs to be greens. So, that's precisely what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this green, and I think I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to it for this section. See how we get on with that. Maybe I should put the paint on this side, probably. Actually, I should put the palette there and then the yeah, okay. Okay, this is fine. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm going to just take my big old brushy and I'm going to dip. Okay. And I think I'm just gonna go over this whole area with a sort of a lighter wash of this green. Wow, this paint is really sitting on top of the sizing on this paper, which is no bad thing. It's interesting. It's something that sometimes it's hard to find information for about the watercolor paper that you're buying, depending on where you get it from and that kind of thing. Whether or not there's sizing on the paper, because sometimes they'll be like, yeah, we use a really good sizing so your paint doesn't soak in too fast, and then you'll have other ones that'll be like, we don't use any sizing so that your paint doesn't sit on top. It's like, okay. I mean, both of these are fine as, like, options. I don't actually have a super strong preference about whether I prefer my my paper being sized. I think I mostly prefer my paper to not be annoying. That's, like, the most important thing for me, is I prefer my paper to not be annoying. And I do find sometimes papers can be annoying. But to a certain extent, that sometimes also, that's also just the way that, like, a particular paper maybe cooperates or doesn't with a specific type of paint, which can also vary. Now I'm not going to add a ton of texture to this background because really looking at most of them they wouldn't have. And as much as it's kind of, it feels somewhat anathema to my own style, I want to kind of be true to that here. So that's what I'm doing. I'm wondering if these little protrusions of greenery are going to make painting the sky annoying, but hopefully it'll be fine. Maybe I should have painted the sky first, I'm realizing. Ah, beans. Oh well, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it will all be fine. And if it's not fine, don't matter. Don't matter, it's all part of the experience. And we don't need to create things that are perfect. We just need to create things that are fun, I think. I think that's more important to me. So, you know, I think it's all good. Anyways, I am sorry that I did not stream as much as I had intended to stream all week last week, but unfortunately I got sick. And then Thursday came around, and I was intending to stream on Thursday, and I just had a really terrible time right before stream, and I was like, nope, I feel bad. My tech was not cooperating, my head was not cooperating, and my body was definitely not cooperating, so I decided to not. And I felt very bad about that, because, you know, this is parts of a job. I do thank you, Twitch. I do get ad revenue from these streams. It's extremely little. It's like, you know, it's like 20 cents a stream, but still, it's enough to make me feel bad about, like, not doing a good job. That is really sad. I should not care about what level of job I'm doing for 20 cents a stream. But still, it's not the money that makes me want to do a good job. It's the community. It's the people here. Because, like, I value your time and yourselves. I think you're cool and fun. And I want to provide you with a situation that you find, you know, like, super rad and enjoyable and not unpleasant to watch. So here we are. But yes, a nice classical sort of blue and green background. Very not like the vibe, I think, of Hollow Knight necessarily, but it is the vibe of a medieval illuminated manuscript, and that is also very much what I'm going for here. So hopefully that's a good. Anyways, I'm most definitely I'm trying my best for whatever that's worth. But yeah, I want to let this dry a little bit, and then I'm gonna do a second layer of just this straight ahead green in the foreground, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow to the back, just to give it a little bit of dimension, a little bit of depth, hopefully. And yeah. In other news, my dinner tonight is kids menu. Because you know, sometimes you just got a kids menu, especially when you're not feeling great, and I'm still getting over being under the weather, and I'm very annoyed about this because last week I was supposed to be a week off. Supposed to be a week off. I wasn't going to work on anything, etc., etc., and I felt like boo-boo garbage, and that doesn't seem fair, you know? That doesn't seem fair. This is time I'm supposed to be, like, resting and recuperating and all that stuff, and not being sick and kind of canceling that out. No. So to that end, we're having some kids menu, damn it. Because I can. And I am looking forward to said kids menu. It has to be said, because, I mean, who does not love a good kids menu meal? People who lack whimsy. That's who. Comfort food is good food, says Styles. Love that dinner for you. Hell yeah. I'm looking forward to kids menu dinner for sure. It is. It is a special and deeply pleasant experience. I think. I think it's a lovely time. Okay, I'm just gonna pull a ton of this into my brush and just pop it over here, and then add some more of the. You can't see my brush because I'm in the way of my own brush, but I've just added sort of a more saturated amount of that green paint to this blob of green to apply to this sort of frontal area of moss. Moss or grass? Mass. No, that doesn't work. That's just a word in of itself. Anyways. I mean, obviously this piece is going to feel a little bit different to a traditional medieval art situation anyways, because they wouldn't have been working with Japanese watercolors. But I am. Because I thought it would look nice. And I also really like working with them. I'm not actually sure what they would have been using. But probably not Japanese watercolors if I had to guess. Oh, that's given it a real amount of paper texture. I kind of liked when it didn't have so much of the paper texture. Uh-oh. Sammy Fi that biz is cranky. They used inks, yeah, probably. They used pigments mixed with some stuff, which is a type of watercolor, maybe. I don't know. I remember one time when I was, like, experimental and weird and young, I had someone try and, like, mansplain art supplies to me, but they also didn't know anything about, they didn't know as much as they thought that they knew about art supplies. So I literally decided to see what would happen if I just made, like, a very textural painting, but the only supplies that I didn't have, like, acrylics or oils or anything that you would normally use to, like, build up, like, texture on a piece. So I just used tubes of watercolor paint. And just, you know, didn't water down the paint at all. I just sort of put, like, globs of it onto a canvas. And I was like, ta-da, a painting. It was ugly and very bad. But I was like, yeah, I just used, like, watercolor straight out of the tube. And this guy was like, oh, you mean gouache? And I'm like, I really don't think that's true. But I also don't know what gouache is yet, because they haven't covered that in my secondary school art classes, and I did no, I'm like 15. Don't talk about your ages. This is a story about past me. But yeah, it was really okay. The texture here is kind of settling down a little bit, I think, and I'm liking it better. I do like the richness of this green, though. I think that's really nice. I think that's good. I'm happy with that, I think. But yeah, this person was like, oh, if you use tubes of watercolor paint and don't water them down, that's gouache. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure gouache is a different kind of paint you can also get. Gouache is ageless, can't squash the gouache! I've actually been thinking for quite a while now that I want to get some, because I don't really have any. I have some paints that are kind of, in terms of, like, their opacity, are kind of between watercolor and gouache. I do find that you can lay on this, like, these Japanese watercolors, I think, in more opaquely than a lot of watercolors, which can be quite interesting and can give quite nice effects. But, I'm lurking to go, what? That guy's his turnip? Okay, back to lurk. Have a lovely continued lurk. And I wholeheartely agree with your what? Yeah, that, like, you know, sometimes people just say stuff. Like, they do, and it's, no, friendo, just stop talking, you don't know. Anyways, like, I'm gonna pull up, I'm going to pull up a very helpful little, chart. Because, oh boy. I once had someone, speaking of, like, people just asserting things that they clearly are getting incorrect. And telling you, and I've had this specific experience on more than one occasion of someone telling me, oh, you mean this, with that exact wording. And then they're incorrect. And it's like, okay, this is clearly something that I have some expertise in because I'm doing it. So, no, I mean precisely what I said. One time, and again, this is going back to roughly the same era, if I'm remembering correctly. I had been teaching myself some basic phrases in Welsh, because I think it's a neat language. This color is drying down so nice. I was worried that it was going to be really spotty, but actually, it's just got a nice little bit of texture to it. That's fantastic. Good job, me. I can't paint this bit until this is dry, because I don't want it to bleed into itself. Anyways. Cranky says, I do it all the time, and I try to sound as incompetent as I am, so there's no confusion. Heck. Anyways, so yeah, I was learning some Welsh, and I was in conversation with someone at, like, a little garden party or something. And I happened to mention that I was teaching myself some phrases in Welsh, and he was like, oh, you mean Gaelic? And I'm like, no, I don't. I mean Welsh. And he's like, yeah, you mean Gaelic? And I'm like, no, I do not. I mean Welsh. And he was very insistent, so I just left it. Because I was like, I don't know what to do with this conversation. But also, this was pre-smartphone. So I barely had, if I had a mobile phone at all at that point, it was like the Nokia brick. You know, older viewers will remember. But had it been, like, more recently, like within the last, say 15 years or so, I would have just pulled this up on my phone. Because it's like, I'm sorry, no. I'm sorry, no. I don't mean Gaelic. It's not even in the same branch of the Celtic language family as Gaelic, my friend. It's in the Brythonic branch, okay? Like, you're thinking of probably Irish or Scottish. Which are in the Gaelic branch of the tree. You might be thinking of Manx, but you're probably not, because it's pretty rare. But, oh, Cornish. Good to know. See? Cornish is a fun language. Not that I can speak Cornish, but there is a musician who I think is quite good, called Gweno, who released an album in Cornish, and it's delightful. There is a song entirely about cheese. I love it. But the history of the Cornish language in sort of the recent decades is actually quite interesting as well, because there was like one surviving native Cornish speaker as of, like, the 70s, like one little old lady who grew up speaking Cornish, and otherwise it had pretty much just died out and been subsumed by English. And the Cornish people were like, we should start speaking Cornish again. And so people started making a concerted effort to start speaking Cornish again. And I'm like, hell yeah. The ties between language and culture, we know, are powerful, because we know that, like, colonial powers and that kind of thing are very big on, oftentimes getting people to stop speaking their own language and start speaking the colonizers' language instead. There's something there. So, asserting your culture by asserting its own language, I think, is powerful and important and good. I say this as someone who lives in England, so I don't have to do anything. But as someone who lives in England, I very much feel that it's so important to support and honor the other native languages of this landmass, and not just the, like, most popular one. Cornwall is a fun name of a place in general. I agree, and I also like visiting it. It's a nice place to visit. We're about to go into ads, so I have to leave for a couple minutes, so you don't miss anything. So please enjoy the BRB screen in the meantime. Sorry I went on a bit of a rant there, well, not a rant, a ramble more like. Anyways, I will see you very shortly. Please enjoy. Have a drink, have a stretch, do all that jazz. I'll see you very shortly. BRB! Alright, friends, I'm back. Hello. Anywho, Tal says the latest Lingthusiasm podcast episode had some good discussion about people working to reclaim space for their languages. I need to be listening to this podcast. Thank you for the shout. That sounds fantastic. As someone who, believe it or not, I did some linguistics when I was an academic. So I kind of have feelings about these things. And I am very much interested in, like, you know, regional languages and dialects and that kind of thing, and at any efforts made to, like, maintain them or revive them or just keep them going among their populations, because I do think that that's important and special and good. And one other thing I wanted to mention about, like, the Gaelic guy is that, like, as I said, Gaelic doesn't mean anything. I mean what thing is, like, what is the Gaelic language then, bro? Because there's Scots Gaelic, which in Scottish Gaelic is called Gaelic, and then there's Irish, which is in the same language family, and is the Irish name for is Gaeilge. But it's like, okay, which one do you mean, bro? Neither of them is Welsh. Anyways, I'm gonna step off that soapbox. Let's all learn some Moroccan Arabic. Yes, please. That'd be super rad. Probably the only words that I know in Moroccan Arabic are for food, which is a good starting point in any language, to be fair. Good starting point in any language, I think. But, that might just be my, foodal bias. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that, probably, not Moroccan specifically, but, yeah, heck yeah, that's cool. Anyways. Let's add another layer of color on top of this one and make it slightly different so it stands out. Let's not paint over the bits that we don't wanna. That break actually timed itself perfectly because it allowed the other layer of paint to dry before I got back, which I appreciate greatly. No, I don't want to... I'm thinking I don't want to recover this little sprout, because I will do this sprout in, like, a darker green, but I think a less yellow green, more of a kind of straight ahead green like our Komidori down here. There's also Manx Gaelic, says Cass. Yes, sorry, hello Cassa. We did have a look at the Celtic language tree earlier, which was very fun. And thank you for reminding us of Manx as well, which is, hold up, let's take a look at it again, because none of these over on the left are Welsh. Cannot stress that enough. It's very different linguistically. If you've seen and read thems, you know. Anyways, they're all good languages, Brent. Okie dokie. That'll do. Now these tiny little areas I've got here are holding on to big blobbits of paint. More so than I would like them to, so I'm actually just gonna... I'm removing liquid from my brush so I can kind of just hoover it up slightly from out of there. There we go. Okay. I like this. I think that's fun. I remember going to see a comedian who incorrectly referred to Welsh as Gaelic in Wales, says Cassa. No! I'm gonna guess that went over super poorly with the audience. I feel like, I don't know, maybe they're used to people, like, effing that up, but, like, come on, bruh. No! That hurts. That wounds me. Oh, gosh. I don't like it. Oh no. I mean, I think I'm 100% sure I've seen examples of like people just saying the wrong thing to an audience in the wrong place. Like, you know, when I lived in Canada and I was young and I used to go to like music gigs more, there were definitely instances of like someone is on tour from like the States and just say something that you really shouldn't say about Canadians in Canada, and the audience is like, mm, we've turned on you. You know, I think they usually meant to claw it back, but someone corrected him and explained it nicely, and he actually genuinely listened to this. That was nice. Yay! We love to see it. That is the attitude we love to see. It is, honestly, that's the thing. Like, everyone has gaps in knowledge. Everyone has misunderstandings. I 100% do. There are gazillions of things that I do not know. If I get something wrong, I would like to know about it so I can correct this and learn something. But then again, I also enjoy learning stuff. I think there are some people, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I don't want to get into sort of the discourse surrounding all of that stuff, but something that I find genuinely like surprising, and it's probably not something that I should be surprised by, because obviously my experience is not universal. I know this very well about myself in various many aspects, in fact, partially because of, you know, the whole neurodivergence thing, but, you know, just being an individual, like, in general. Your experience is not universal. My experience is not universal. Your experience is not universal. However, there are certain things where when I find out a fundamental difference between myself and others, I find kind of shocking. And one of those is people who genuinely don't enjoy learning. There are certain things that I just can't, my brain cannot wrap itself around. You know, like Cranky says, I love learning too, but not everyone does. Absolutely. And I'm really surprised. I'm like, I've known this about people. I've known people like this my whole life. But I'm always surprised and kind of shocked by it because it feels so anathema to my lived experience and what I consider, I guess, in my head to be like a fundamental experience of being, which is, you know, sort of being in a continuous state of becoming, and that becoming comes out of learning. And to not want to do that. I understand, you know, sort of, there are a lot of people who don't want to continue in formal education, for instance. Maybe their experience of the formal education system or the education system where they are was bad. Maybe they did poorly, you know, like they didn't have the right aptitudes for getting through their local education system and do well with it. You know, maybe other circumstances got in the way of them being able to perform well. Or maybe they did perform well and they just hated every second of it, you know? It's whatever. But I'm honestly I'm honestly surprised when I find that there are people who just genuinely don't seem to enjoy learning things. Like, they will just choose not to, and I find that really surprising and strange, and I cannot relate. Like, I'm not professing to be, like, you know, enlightened in any way. Like, I'm an idiot. And I also feel kind of weird saying this because I recognize that there's a privilege inherent in the fact that I was able to, like, get a university degree. Not everyone can do that, either because, you know, like, entrance requirements or financial reasons. I was very lucky that I was able to just skirt in on the educational requirements as a mature student, and that, you know, I was able to, like, it was able to be funded. I was very, very lucky. And I fully realize this, and I don't want to take that for granted in, you know, sort of like the things that I say in this way, but I do think that even, you know, outside of formal education, there are many people I know who did not progress very far in terms of their formal education, whether, you know, they stopped basically before secondary school, or like they barely made it out of secondary school, or they didn't complete secondary school, but they started, that kind of thing. Like, you know, like a good number of people, but they still love to learn stuff, you know? not in a formal setting necessarily, but they read all the time. They read all kinds of different topics and like learning about different things. So it's not like an intellectual or educational elitism in saying that like I find it surprising that there are people who just genuinely don't enjoy to learn. Dunno. Anyways, I'm sorry. How did I get onto this soapbox? Casa says with regard to the comedian, this was around 2006 to 8. So that economy, I guess, just before the 2008 recession. I remember it well. I was partway through my university degree and just being like, well, what the hell am I going to do now? And the answer is I didn't know, and I ended up moving to the UK. Also, this is Marcus Breakstock. I recognize that name. One of the more cerebral comedians. Yeah, I can see him being receptive to that kind of thing. Cranky says, yeah, it's more my style. I dropped out of university really fast, but all of my hobbies are pits of infinite learning. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, university, like, post-secondary education is not for everyone. I learned, thankfully, before I decided to apply for graduate school, that, like, graduate school was not for me. And I finished my undergrad and then I dipped. And I've been doing other stuff since, because I knew that was not for me. I had initially not thought that doing a university degree at all was for me. And, then I decided to do it anyways, and I had a great time. Because it turns out it was much better suited to my ADHD than, like, the general education that you get in secondary school. I was like, oh no, I can just drill deep down and just, like, pursue my special interests and basically not do anything else. This is fantastic. I mean, I did, like, my my interests are wide-ranging enough that I got a pretty comprehensive amount of things that I got to learn. But anyways. I'm somehow always amazed both ways, both when people are willing to learn and when people aren't, says Tels. Yeah, that's fair. I've had people that I know, like, likewise, as I said, I've had people who, in my life who have basically no formal education, but absolutely love learning. And are very receptive and open to learning new things. I've also known people who, I feel like by virtue of, like, their lines of work or that kind of thing, or what I know about them in terms of, like, education and stuff, should know better, who, when, for instance, like, this guy, this Marcus Brigstock fellow, who was receptive and learned a new thing, at this live show, which is fantastic. We love to see it. And that was a fun experience for him as well, I guess, because he learned something new, and isn't that great? But I've also had situations in my personal life where, I've had like someone I know, like a friend or whatever, has asserted something in no uncertain terms that I know is untrue. And I know is, I understand where that untruth comes from, and I wanted to, sort of explain. So I, sort of will have said to them, that, this isn't, it might seem that way, but actually it's like this, here are some peer-reviewed sources. So you understand. Saying this in the nicest way possible, obviously. And having a response like, I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. And I'm like, well, I mean, I suppose, but this isn't so much a matter of opinion or belief. It's a matter of, like, record, or empirical results, that kind of thing, where it's like, this isn't a matter of me questioning your opinion. This is a matter of me telling you that this is scientifically or historically inaccurate. And it's maybe not a good untruth that you're perpetuating here, and just having people say, like, well, I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. It's like, that's not how that phrase should work. That is not how that phrase should work, and I don't like that you just said it, Is that a friendship ending infraction? Depends. It might put you on some thin ice, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't mean to be I don't mean to be mean. I don't mean to be mean, and I don't mean to be intolerant. But I also don't mean to be a pushover. And if I can see that you're just, you know, doubling down and sticking your head in the sand over something that, like, this has been debunked, or, like, this is a flagrant inaccuracy, I will approach you as kindly as possible, because I understand everyone has gaps in knowledge. Everyone has things that they don't know. I have lots of things that I don't know. I'm an idiot. But if when confronted with this information, your response is simply to say, I disagree with that, without even giving it a second glance, you have kind of diminished in my estimation as a person, as a thinker, and as someone I feel like I respect. Because what are you doing? You know? Cranky says, disagree with them agreeing to disagree. Yeah, exactly. Then you've not agreed to disagree at all. You've disagreed to agree to disagree. Yeah, I'm not agreeing to disagree on something when I know for a fact that they're just wrong. Sorry. There was this documentary that was released years and years ago, and I watched most of it with a friend of mine who had, like, borrowed it from the library, I think. And it starts out saying things that sound like, you know, plausible basic science. And with someone who didn't have a lot of science knowledge at the time, at first I was kind of like, yeah, okay. And then it delves in, and then it starts, like, moving into the science fiction culty stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is all nonsense. And but I was confused, because there were, like, they were interviewing scientists and, you know, like, scientific experts for this, and I'm like, how are they getting these people to be in this film that is absolute, like, just nonsense pseudoscientist? That man's a physicist. What's he doing here? And so I looked it up, and I found, like, articles by and interviews with, like, the scientists that were interviewed for this, and how they were misled into the type of film they were being interviewed for. They were asked questions that the interviewers could then, like, cherry pick, like, sentence fragments out of to make it sound, with editing, like these people were saying things that they absolutely were not saying. And asking very leading questions to get them to try and say half a sentence that sounds like it agrees with whatever, like, cult nonsense this was. It was very annoying, very frustrating. And because my friend was genuinely intrigued by some of the ideas that it was expressing, I was like, he should probably know that this is not a reliable source. And so I sent him a bunch of articles, like, debunking the things that they talk about, including debunking some of these scientific studies that they quote in it. And his response was, well, that's your opinion. I'm like, no, it's not my opinion. It's the account of people who were misled about being interviewed for this, bro. That's not my opinion versus your opinion. That's, like, the people making this are manipulating you into, like, cult stuff. It's bad. So yeah, that was fun. And when I say that was fun, that was awful. That's someone I pretty much stopped hanging out with at that point. But yeah, so that goes, I guess. I'm making the sky blue, as you can see. But enough about that. Sorry for my rants. But that's just something that I find bothersome. There are lots of things that you can just have a disagreement of opinion on, you know? Like, what's the best series of Star Trek? Is it Deep Space Nine? Or is it Lower Decks? Either option is fine. We can still be friends. We can be friends even if your favorite is, like, Enterprise. Which is not my favorite. But hey, you know, it's not that bad. It's alright. Anyways. That's a pretty shade of blue. I'll probably... DS9 says Styles. Hell yeah. Though I've not seen Lower Decks, so I can't actually judge. I personally love Lower Decks. I know there are a lot of people for whom it's kind of divisive. But I think it's delightful. I think in general, I haven't seen past, like, the first episode of season 3. I'm catching up slowly. But, I think it does a good job of, in general, of balancing sort of nice ways of just tying it together with the rest of the Star Trek canon in terms of, like, oh, hey, you know, like, there's, not to spoil too much, but, like, there's a crew member who's from that species from the TNG episode Darmok, which is really fun. You know, this is the first time since that episode, I think, that we've seen, one of that species, so that's really neat. That, you know, there'll be, like, that kind of thing. And so it feels like, it feels pleasantly connected to the rest of the Star Trek universe without being just a parade of references to other things and no substance. It's a show with a lot of heart. I like the setting of it, as being, you know, sort of not one of the flagship ships of the fleet. A ship that's kind of, you know, it's there and it does important jobs, but it's not one of the ones that gets all the glory and gets to do all of the exciting jobs. It gets to do the less exciting jobs. And specifically, like, the main characters of the show are the, like, ensigns and stuff who get to do the less exciting jobs on the ship that is doing the less exciting jobs. It's a good time. I like the characters. The characters get a lot of growth and development, despite the fact that it's, like, you know, a like 25-minute sitcom as opposed to an hour-long show. Potentially, like, at least as much as, if not more, development than, like, you know, like the TNG crew. And it's also very funny. I would say I don't have a definitive numbered list of my favorite Star Trek captains, but I would say Captain Freeman is definitely... I would put her in the top 3. I would put her in the top 3. Her, Cisco, and another one. Not sure which other one. But there you go. But that's just me. And that is an opinion. One that there are people whose thoughts and feelings about Star Trek I very much admire who do not like Lower Decks. So, you know, that's also fair. Some people don't like as much sort of comedy goofs in their Star Trek. Maybe they don't like as much in terms of references to other parts of the Star Trek universe in their Star Trek. Also fair. Maybe the characters just don't vibe with them. Fair. It's all good. But if you haven't seen it and you think it might be your thing, I recommend it. Would it be my top choice for, like, the first Star Trek show that you should jump into? Possibly not, because of the referencey stuff, but I also think that generally I think you could probably get away with it. There will be things that it's a richer experience, I think, if you're like, oh hey, you know, that's the alien species from the episode Darmok. It's really neat to see one of them again. Like that kind of thing. But I don't think not knowing that, I don't think things are presented in a way that, like, not knowing that or not getting all of the sort of Easter eggy type stuff would make it not fun to watch. You know what I mean? Anyways, sorry. Cranky says, I'm starting to think you're a Star Trek nerd. What? I don't know wherever you would get that impression. Whatever makes you think that? Could it be the, Could it be the Dax sticker that's in my shop update? Could it be? I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Anyways, pure aesthetics. This is cranky. Hell yeah. I mean, I do own a Bajoran earring or two. Not just because of the show. I've always just thought that, like, it's a really cute jewelry style. But I do have a Bajoran earring. 'Cause I think they're cute. I'm adding another layer of sky blue because I think I want it to be a little bit bolder than it is currently. I think we can deepen it a little bit. I don't want it to be too dark, obviously, because it's the sky. But we can have a nice bright blue sky, can't we? I figure why not. I wasn't going to add any little fluffy clouds to this, but we'll get this sort of natural variegation of just me brushing watercolor onto paper anyway, so I think that'll give us a nice dimensional sky, I hope. I hope it will. Anyways. But I hope this is looking kind of good. I realize we haven't gotten as far into it as I'd kind of hoped. I haven't watched it yet, but seems fun, says Cranky. I recommend it. I mean, obviously, if you don't like it, that's okay. Actually, talking of Trek, I think one of the things that's made me saddest recently is I'm about halfway through watching the first season of Prodigy, and I wasn't sure how much I was going to like this show. Because it is, you know, it's about a group of teens, it's a kids show. I tend not to... I mean, there is a lot of kids media that I love. But it is more specifically targeted at, like, young people rather than being, like, a family show. And so I wasn't sure if I was going to vibe with that or if it was going to be a little teen drama for me. And, oh man, it turns out I love it. It's really good. It's really good. I like the characters. The story that they're doing has a lot of depth to it. I've been told that there are things in the second season that will make me cry. So, got that to look forward to, and just absolutely gutted about the fact that they're not making any more! Like, what the hell? It's so good! That is a gorgeous blue. I think that's all the blue that I want to add, actually. I think I'm done with blue. Apart from just patching up a couple little bits here and there, I think I'm done with blue. Oh, that's so is that nice? I think that's really nice. I think this feels like Silksong. Yay! I am so pumped for this. I don't know if it's off-putting when I get, like, not self-congratulatory per se, but just like I get excited about the artwork that I myself am making for myself. And I don't know if that's tacky, but every once in a while I will be working on something and I'll just look at it and I'll be like, damn, I like the way that this looks. This makes me happy. I'm happy making it. And I think that's how making art should make you feel. And I don't always. Sometimes it's a struggle. Sometimes it is a slog. Sometimes it is a matter of, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna have to trust the process and take a big sip of my tea because I'm losing my voice. I'm still getting over a cold and my throat is still really sore. All right. I can't find the paintbrush I wanted to use. Oh, there she is. Okay. She had her lid on, so I couldn't find her. Yep. Nice. Dallas, thank you very much for the hydrate. I will finish off the rest of this delicious Tanzanian coffee that I got in Amsterdam. I want to do a paint, some kind of little Amsterdam-scape at some point in the near future as well, because there were some really lovely vistas in that city, and I really enjoyed getting to kind of wander around and just enjoy the streets and the architecture and the canals and the bridges and all of those good things. The views from the trams, just all of like the tourism websites for Amsterdam. Or like, you know, like the lifestyle bloggers being like, these are the most Instagrammable locations in Amsterdam that you have to visit. I didn't visit most of them. But a lot of them recommended going on like a boat tour of the canals. And you know what? A really good way to see some really nice canal views is to just take certain tram lines. You also get to ride a tram, which is my idea of a good time. But that might be very specific to me. Also, it's real hard to get pictures of the nice views out of the tram when it's a really busy time of day and it's full of, like, sleepy commuters who you don't want to photograph them because, you know, the privacy and stuff. That's one thing I always struggle with when I'm, like, wanting to take photos and video and that kind of thing in cities I'm visiting and public spaces and that kind of thing is that I recognize that, like, there's just going to be people in the shot a lot of the time. But, like, A, for privacy reasons, and also B, for, like, artistic reasons, I don't want any of my work to be focused on, like, the people I don't know, you know? I don't want to get, like, I don't want to be trying to take a photo of, like, a beautiful building or something, and there's just, like, somebody's kid just gets their face in and is, like, staring directly at my camera. I'm like, well, I can't use that now, because privacy, you know? I mean, there's a certain extent to which you step out into a public space that you might end up in a tourist's photograph, but, you know, I don't necessarily want to be trying to take a photo of, like, a bridge or something and just have, like, a person is just, like, staring down my camera and I didn't realize it until afterwards, and I'm like, well, I can't use that now. You know, if I was trying to, like, film something out in the wild and there's, like, a lot of sort of just egregiously there's people everywhere and you can't really help but notice them, there is the very handy feature of blurring them out. And if that ever is a concern in anything that I'm, like, filming for YouTube or anything, I'm happy to just, you know, that's not so much an aesthetic filmmaking choice as it is, like, a privacy choice. Like, if there's, you know, if I'm, like, eating at a restaurant and I'm filming myself eating at a restaurant and you can just see, you know, just the whole ass face of, like, the people at the table right behind me the entire time, I'll just blur them out, because, you know, like, they didn't ask to be filmed eating their soup or whatever. But in terms of, like, nice photographs, I can't really do that so much. So I just try and wait for people to get out of the way as much as I can. And if you just see, like, a figure, but they're far enough away, like, they're not identifiable, or there's just a large crowd of them, so you're not... then no one seems singled out within it. Like, I think that's fine. Yeah, Tull says, there's incidental people in photos, and then there's photos that look like they are a photo of the people. Exactly. It's like if I was trying to take a photo out the window of a tram, for instance, and there was a commuter sitting in the seat right in front of the window. If I tried to take that photo, it would just look like a photo of the person sitting in the window. And I would not want to do that, because I feel like most people, when they're commuting on a tram, don't want a stranger to take a photo of them. And I would also not want to do that. There's, like, a school of photography, and I feel like, I hope that in general, like, street photographers are more like the cool street photographers that I see today, who will, like, approach a person and say, hey, I'm a photographer and I really dig, like, your outfit. I think you look great. Would you pose for a photo? And then the person has the option of saying yes or no, and, you know, if they say no, okay, respect, have a nice day, that kind of thing. I think that's great, and I'm super into it. There was a school of, like, street photographer, and, you know, I think they were quite famous, quite well known, quite well respected, but also would just, like, be walking down the sidewalk in New York City and just, like, boom, camera in somebody's face and just, like, blast them with a camera flash and then, like, wander on. No conversation, no questions asked, just capturing life. And I'm like, nah, I think you're kind of just being a pest, actually. Like, I don't think that's cool. I think that's kind of gross. If that happened to me, I would feel uncomfortable. So, yeah. But I think people don't really do that anymore, and I like that. Anyways. Hello.
Oh hell yeah, Samantha _42 just subscribed. What is this? Almost a whole 4 years.
Hello, Samantha _42. Thank you so much for the sub. Enjoy your emotes and stuff, my friend. Oh my gosh, almost on a entire year. Times 4. Can you believe to learn? I need to sip my tea again. I think my voice is going, so I'm probably not going to be on too much longer. But hello, how are you? It's lovely to see you, and welcome on in. The Junder score every time, says Tals. You know, I do. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for TTS Nicole for recognizing the gender score. I don't know what a gender score is, but I love it. Okay. I'm just futzing a little bit with this green. And I'm gonna start with this bad boy and see how I feel about it. Oh, that's a little too dark, in fact. I'm gonna water it down just a smidge, and that was a little full on, and I got some on my hand. Great. Terrible drawing time. What even is a gender score? Oh god. That is an excellent question. If you don't mind, I'm just going to quickly fill in this greenery. But while I'm filling in this greenery, I'm going to explain what terrible drawing time is to anyone who's new here. Effectively, it's a phenomenon whereby for 5,000 channel points, I have 5 minutes or less to draw a character or concept of your choosing from memory or sight unseen on the terrible drawing canvas, which you are about to witness. It's usually pretty bad. Hi Gumby, welcome in, how are you doing? It's lovely to see you and welcome. I'm just quickly making hopefully nice, quick, tidy work of these little moments, these little verdant moments in the Silksongian landscape. Whereupon I shall imminently be doing a terrible drawing forsooth, for 'tis my job as an art streamer. That went in a direction. Anyways, ta-da! It's horned. Do you like her? Do you like her? Do you like her? I hope you like her. Anyways, hello. So can't believe Silksong will be out in a few days. Ah! Ah! What is that? I don't know how I'm going to get anything done during the day on Thursday. I think it drops at around 3 p.m. British time, I remember hearing. I think that's what Kirsty said, and I feel like if anyone knows, it'll be Kirsty. If you don't know friend of the channel, Kirsty, she's doing, and I'm going to give her a shout out because I think it's really neat. She's got a channel where she's going to be drawing along with her playthrough of Silksong, which I think is super cool. So you should go give her a follow over there. Where the hell is my terrible drawing canvas? Some things got moved around a bit because my husband's been doing some Warhammer-y stuff in here. So now I need to find my terrible drawing canvas. I'll be back in just a second. Please be over here in this pile of things that are the same shape as my terrible drawing canvas. There it is. Okay. Found it! We're fine. Everything's okay. Everything is okay. Speaking of okay, I've just stepped away from this and I've come back to it, and uh-oh, I love this. I think this art is gonna be good, y'all. Oh no! Big hopes, says Gumby. I did see a funny joke. I did see a funny joke that was someone amended the graphics from the Silksong release trailer to say Hollow Knight Silksong is in development. Or it's like, yeah, Hollow Knight Silksong is now in development. Oh goodness. Gumby says, I just got back from a 17-hour board game session experience of a lifetime for me. That sounds amazing and so fun. And you must be so tired. Holy heck. That is wild, and I love that for you. I do not know what a gender score is. I don't even know how to conceive of what a gender score might be. What the hell am I gonna draw? I don't know. Let me bring up my clock. I've got, okay, my timer. I'm gonna set my timer for 5 minutes starting now, and I'm gonna draw the gender score. What is a gender score? What is it? Is it a place? Is it a feeling? Is it a person? Is it a thing? Ask TTS Nicole if she knows what a gender score is. I feel like her answer would be like her answer would be oh no. Oh no. Um Yeah, exactly. We started at noon and played until 5 a.m., says Gumby. Oh my goodness, you must be so tired. Okay, time is ticking and I don't know what a gender score is. You know what? You know what? I think I figured out what a gender score might be. So I'm gonna draw it. I'm gonna draw it down here, and it's gonna be real stupid, but hopefully it'll be correct. Namely, it's how shall I do this? Okay, I'm gonna draw some. Hopefully you get the idea here that this is a coral reef. We're in a coral reef because we're off the coast of Australia here, and they've got some coral reefs over there. Sam's gonna have to cordon off a blank section of the canvas and declare that a gender score. No, I'm going for it. I'm going for it. This is we're off the coast of Australia, so this is a coral reef, and sticking out of the coral reef is it's a chest of treasures. I'm not drawing this correctly. I have not drawn that correctly. I don't know how to draw a treasure chest, apparently. Okay, so it goes like this. The fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift. Just gonna futz around with this until it feels like it could be a treasure chest. There we go. Okay, so it's got some like rivets and stuff here, and it is full of really neat, fun, shiny treasure. Yay! It's a treasure chest in a coral reef. It's full of really cool things. There's some like shiny gemstones in here. And I don't know, maybe some like cool coins and stuff. And ooh, also what a lovely duck, says Q2. So thank you. I tried my best. I can't remember. I think it was some sort of clown goose situation. I can't remember exactly what I was supposed to be doing, but that's what that was. So this is the gender score, which is Australian slang for a treasure chest hiding in a coral reef that only the coolest mermaids know where it is. So I'm gonna draw a cool mermaid who knows where it is, and she's real pumped about it. Here she is. Yay, she's swimming along like, yay! I know where the cool gubbins is. She's wearing a shell bra, of course, because she's a merm. And she's got like her funky scales. There she is. And she's got some hair. I don't know, what's her hair doing? Her hair is very, it's very pretty, is what it is. Let's get some more scales in there, some little details, and she's like, hell yeah, I found the gender score! Which is the Australian word for treasure in a coral reef, mate. Yeah. Anyways, thank you for the hydrate, cute juice. I appreciate it. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you and welcome on in. Delightful. Thank you. I just had a sip of my tea. Oh no. Oh no! That mermaid found my savings! Oh no! I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, TTS Nicole. She has located the Junder score. Anyways, that's the Junder score. I'm just gonna add one more. Hell yeah! She's saying. Okay, let me try and bring this in a little closer to the cam so you can see it. There we are. Here is your masterpiece. Samantha, I hope you're happy with the Junder score. I don't know what that was. I was trying to think of Australian things and yeah. And that's what happened. Anyways, this is the art we've been working on. I'm probably gonna... shoot, it's 1:30. I have to wrap it up because I have to go cook dinner. So I'm gonna wrap it up so I can go cook dinner, but I hope that this this artwork is to y'all's liking thus far. The mystery is finally solved, says Samantha. Hooray! Oh no, says Casa. Yup. I really enjoyed putting all of the dumb little details into this piece, such as this biblically accurate hornet, the delicate flowers up here, the limited edition blue raspberry fight milk flowers over here, the green path vines down at the bottom, a tiny medieval tick-tick, and of course, Sha! This lettering is hard to draw. I hope you like it. TTS Nicole, I am not actually underwater treasure. Well, you are land-based treasure then, because you are a treasured member of this community. So there. Not enough eyes and or wings for biblically accurate, Samantha. To be fair, it's not any kind of accurate. But I hope people like her vibe. I, for one, have enjoyed drawing this. It's been fun. I will once again shout out my shop update because I just added not 1, not 2, but like 5 or 6, I can't remember, limited edition Blue Raspberry Fight Milk Hollow Knight art prints to my shop, as well as a number of other non-Hollow Knight related art prints that are just things I think are fun and whimsical, and also 4 new stickers. And also I have a big dental bill. Because I'm getting dental surgery done on Friday, and frankly, I made the mistake of looking up what my dental surgery entails. I won't tell you because it's... well, they're all scary, and I don't want to scare you, but... yay! So I hope people like this shop update. I hope I targeted my marketing well. I don't know. Anyways, feel free to tell your friends, and if you want to buy stuff, just if you can afford it and you want to. That would be really cool too. But obviously, no pressure. I'm just glad that you're here. For whatever the hell this is. It's more like the medieval cat version of Hornet. Yes, exactly. I didn't mention it at the top of the stream, actually, and I'll mention it again. The reason that I'm drawing a medieval Hornet is that I was thinking about a specific type of hat that was popular during a segment of, you know, sort of the medieval period. That's that, like, double-pointed hennin type hat. You've seen them. And I was like, that's kind of like Hornet's antlers. And so I was gonna do, like, a more involved sort of, like, medieval fantasy piece of, like, what Hornet would look like if she were, like, a medieval sort of lady warrior thing. But then I drew this and I was like, nah, we're going for a different vibe of illuminated manuscript here. This is what happened. So, yeah. So that exists. We went on a lot of tangents today, and I would like to thank you for joining me on them. What an adventure it's been. I hope you had fun. I will be painting this again on Thursday because, while Silksong is dropping on Thursday, I will not have time to download and test run it before it's time to stream. So I will be painting And then I'll be playing Silksong on Friday, hopefully. Fingy's very crossed that everything works as it should, and I could actually do that. If not, oh, who knows? Oh, who knows? You know what? This is gonna sound crazy. This is gonna sound wild. Like, I know this, but we're gonna raid someone who's playing Hollow Knight, because I can. Skong! It feels appropriate to raid someone who's playing Hollow Knight. So, I'm gonna send this to... Babe? So apparently our water's not working at the moment. So I'm gonna raid out, and then I'm gonna go look into that. Anyways, this person is playing Hollow Knight, so, have fun. Oh no, gonna have to look and see if something's up with Thames Water again. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a lovely evening. I hope your running water is working correctly, and, well, I'll keep you posted in the Discord if anyone's curious, I guess. But that's good to know, I suppose. Let me get a raid message in the chat real quick if I can. Raiding a Hollow Knight player, but it's such an obscure game. Anyone here would have heard of? Oh, who knows? Oh, who knows? Can I get the emotes to load? Can I get the emotes to load? I can't. Okay, the emotes aren't loading. I'll just say generic raid message, whatever. You can append any emotes that you want, but I can't get them to work, and I kind of got to go figure out what's going on with my house right now. So, I will see you all on Thursday doing some more silly artwork and stuff. Have a lovely evening and stuff in the meantime. You're all breathtaking. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and hope to see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Goodbye, good night, and good luck.